Oregon college shooting once again led the president to address gun violence. He says it is wrong for deadly shootings like this to become routine.
As I said just a few months ago, and I said a few months before that, and I said each time we see one of these mass shootings, our thoughts and prayers are not enough. It's not enough.
And according to the Washington Post, this may surprise you, this statistic, every week of his second term has seen a mass shooting somewhere in America. Major Garrett is at the White House. He looks at how the president's responses have changed over the past few years. Major, good morning.
Good morning. It is impossible to sum up all of President Obama's intellectual and emotional reactions to what he now views as an epidemic of mass gun violence on his watch. But we can start with disbelief, compassion, frustration, and evolving anger. After the Aurora, Colorado movie theater massacre, President Obama played the familiar presidential role of grief counselor.
We may never understand what leads anybody to terrorize their fellow human beings like this. Such violence, such evil is senseless. It's beyond reason.
After Sandy Hook, a day the president called his worst in office, Mr. Obama struggled with the enormity of loss and for the words to help a nation cope.
I know there's not a parent in America who doesn't feel the same overwhelming grief that I do.
It was then Mr. Obama turned toward gun control, an issue he had marginalized before Sandy Hook.
And we're going to have to come together and take meaningful action to prevent more tragedies like this, regardless of the politics.
Then pro-gun rights senators killed the president's push for wider federal background checks on gun sales and limits on ammunition clips. Mr. Obama stood with Sandy Hook families in the Rose Garden and, for the first time, flashed some anger.
There were no coherent arguments as to why we wouldn't do this. It came down to politics.
After the Charleston church shooting, Mr. Obama's patience had worn thin, even as his sense of resignation had grown.
I've had to make statements like this too many times, and it is in our power to do something about it. I say that recognizing the politics in this town foreclose a lot of those avenues right now.
And yesterday, after more than a dozen statements on mass shootings here in America, the president identified a deeper, more complex dynamic behind the political paralysis.
The reporting is routine. My response here at this podium ends up being routine. What's also routine is that somebody somewhere will comment and say, Obama politicized this issue. Well, this is something we should politicize.
The president also used another word yesterday, numb. He fears the nation has come to accept the unimaginable, has somehow found a way to take the shock and sadness in stride. Charlie, for a presidency that began at least in concept around hope and change, President Obama finds little of either here.
Thanks, Major. A fantastic report to understand the anger and the depth of the emotion of the President of the United States and a sense of almost powerlessness to change.
You could really, guys, feel his frustration. And a lot of people woke up this morning and asked that exact same question. How much longer? Enough, enough, enough.
Yeah, why has this become routine?
Yes.
That word routine.
And what can we do?
Yeah. The word routine scares me too, Nora.
Right.